We need to have an honest conversation about making sewing projects that will actually stand the test of time. Welcome to the Sewing Report. I'm Jen. This channel is all about making sewing and crafts fun and approachable, and this is a video that I just think needs to get made. And I want to talk about making sewing projects that will actually stand up to everyday use and wear. And that's something I haven't seen a lot of conversations around, so I'm going to be tackling it in this video. I'm going to be sharing my suggestions for making sewing projects that not only look cute, but also have some longevity to them, because that is important. Often I'll be scrolling Instagram and I see so many really cute projects in great quilting cotton prints. This is such a great substrate because it's fairly easy to sew with, and you can find endless amounts of prints, colors, everything. One downside of sewing with quilting cotton is that over time and with regular use, these items just won't look as fresh as they once did. You've got your hands all over these, they're being tossed into your tote bag, the oils from your fingers are getting on them, they will eventually get dirty. You can wash these items, they just won't look the same. So I'm going to be sharing some things that I will do to quilting cotton to treat the fabric and protect it from that regular use so that these items can stay newer looking longer. Here are two items I've made out of quilting cotton. This is a fabric basket made out of the peppermint prints. This is a boxy zip pouch made out of this really adorable but also very light colored ice cream fabric. These have been sitting in my storage closet, so they haven't gotten a lot of use. What I'm going to be doing is sharing the power of Scotchgard. This is one thing you can do to protect the fabric of items you've already made. Another option you can do, and I'll be demonstrating this, is pre-treating the uncut fabric with Scotchgard before you even start to sew with it. We'll also talk about some other options for fabrics that you can maybe use on the outside of the item. I still use quilting cotton on the inside for the lining. So here are two alternatives. This was sent to me by Eversewn, and this is black faux leather. Looks like it's pretty easy to sew, and I'm excited to use this, but this for like an everyday item like a wallet or a bag or like a little cosmetic pouch, this is going to hold up quite a bit better than quilting cotton prints because, well, one, it's black, and then two, it's going to be very easy to clean and wipe off. So what you could do is, if you're sewing, say, an item like this, you could use faux vinyl or leather or even glitter vinyl like this right here, and use one of these materials on the outside because that's really the part that's going to be handled the most. And then you can also use quilting cotton on the lining or the inside, and that will make an item that's a bit more durable and can stand up to the regular wear and tear of using very everyday, practical, functional items. These two materials would be great for that. I do carry the Luxe Sparkle Vinyl in the Sewing Report Etsy shop. These come in sheets of 8 inches by 20 inches, so this would work for a smaller project. This faux leather is 54 inches by 19 inches, so this is a fairly large piece. I'm not sure exactly how much these cost, but I know Eversewn does make this faux leather, and I believe they also sell cork fabric in quite a few different like colors, prints. So there are a lot of options. If you're comfortable with working with leather, you could also do that. And that obviously is a fairly durable material to work with. So these are just two other options to quilting cotton. If you still really enjoy sewing these items, but you want to use something a little hardier for the exterior of whatever you're sewing. This is a roll of laminated cotton fabric from Cloud9 Fabrics. I don't believe this is still in print. I got this a while ago. Hopefully we'll use this soon. It's a really cute like green leaf print. It's very modern, and this is basically quilting cotton or like cotton fabric with a thin layer of kind of plastic sheeting over. Obviously this is not iron safe, so you're gonna have to be careful. This would be great if you want to even use this for a lining of like a makeup bag because this is a wipeable material. Laminated cotton or using oilcloth is another option you could use for the exterior or the lining of your projects if you do want a surface that's easy to clean. Now again, this is you don't want to hit this with your iron. For a lot of these items too that you're sewing, I would recommend if you can hand washing them. That's going to be a lot gentler on the project. I'm not sure how this would hold up to OxiClean, but there is more delicate laundry detergent that you can use. Maybe put that in a little basin, soak it for a little bit if you're just trying to get the item clean. Another thing you can do is if you have a cotton print you like, you can actually turn it into laminated fabric with this product from Heat and Bond, which is called Heat and Bond Vinyl. I've used this before when I made lunch bags, and I took a print I had and applied this, it turns pretty much any fabric you have into laminated fabric, like what I just showed you. Now, it's not quite the same as the manufacturer printed laminated cotton. There's a little bit of texture when I use this. It's still pretty good. So if you do have a favorite print that you do want to laminate, you can do that. I'm also going to include a link down below in the description box and up here to the previous video I did showing how to use this product. It comes in both glossy and matte finishes. I'm actually really curious about the matte one. This is the glossy one, but the matte one will probably look a lot more like the regular cotton, you know, so it won't have that shine to it, but some people do really like the glossy finish. So this is another option if you just want to protect the quilting cotton from like just everyday use. So HeatnBond, I'll also try to link everything I'm featuring down below in the description box. Most of you are probably familiar with Scotchgard, and this is a product that you can pre-treat your fabric before you cut and sew it. You can also actually just treat the sewn items, but I personally find it easier just to treat the fabric beforehand, but I'm going to show you both in a demonstration. So this one is particularly for fabric projects. There are so many different types of Scotchgard. This one is made in the USA, and I have featured it on the channel before. When I was working with very light colored fabric for a quilt, I was kind of afraid of getting it dirty just with handling the fabric as I was sewing and quilting it. So I actually treated the fabric before I even cut and sewed it, and I felt like it really helped. So you can actually use this on quilts if it's something you are worried about or don't want to mess up, especially if it's kind of a high stakes long-term quilting project. The last thing you want to do is discover unwanted stains or discoloration on your fabric as you are working on the quilt. I mean, that's got to be soul-crushing if you're spending months on a project only to discover some random mark on it. So I'm going to be demonstrating this on both a finished item and on just treating raw fabric. So let's get into this demonstration. Let's start off with Scotchgarding the finished item. I've got a few things. I've got the Scotchgard, of course, and I have just a plastic trash bag. What I normally do is I will take the trash bag, unfold it, and then because this is 2 layers, I will actually cut these sides here to give me double the surface area. So let me get some scissors, cut off these side seams like this. Doesn't have to be super exact. And this will actually leave me a fairly large surface area just to cover up my cutting mat here so the Scotchgard doesn't get on it. So I'm gonna do this for both sides. And you can, of course, use like a plastic drop cloth or a tarp. I'm just using what I have, and trash bags are fairly inexpensive, so this is a fairly good option for me. Now open up the bag. And you see we have a fairly large work surface here. Of course, you could also do this project outside. If you are doing it inside, make sure it's in a fairly well-ventilated space. The other things I have on hand are a bowl of water and then this little rayon cleaning cloth. It is pretty easy to rinse out and reuse. I've been using these quite a bit and they last a bit longer than paper towels. I've had a hard time tracking them down though ever since I bought them, which was 2 years ago, but a big box has lasted me forever. This is good because I'm going to be wiping off the excess on the zipper. So if anything gets on the zipper, I'll be wiping that off. Shaking up the Scotchgard, and I'm also going to be lint rolling my projects before I apply the Scotchgard just to get any fuzzies or lint off. It says hold about 6 inches from the fabric, overlap the spray using a slow sweeping motion, and then do 2 light coats. Dry between applications, and it also says reapply after every cleaning or every 6 months to maintain protection. Durability of protection varies with wear. All right, that's pretty light. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just trying to protect the fabric a little bit from the everyday wear and tear. All right, so we're gonna let this dry and then we'll come back and finish the rest. Let's do a second coat of the fabric basket here. We haven't done the top of the boxy pouch yet, so I'm actually going to kind of hold it like this. Get the front of it and the sides again. Now, when you're doing a finished item, you're obviously not going to be able to get every single nook and cranny in the project, but hopefully just the areas that will be handled the most will be covered. And I'm going to take this cloth and I'm gonna dip some water in it. We're gonna wipe off the zipper pull and then kind of run it over the zipper just to make sure that that gets some of the like excess off. And now we'll let this dry over here. Now this does seem to be fairly dry, so I'm going to flip this over the basket, and now we'll do like the handles and the inside. We're going to just continue spraying the boxy pouch. We'll get the bottom again, and the bottom and the sides, especially with this light colored fabric, I do feel like this is a prime candidate for Scotchgarding, just because this fabric can definitely stain pretty easily. In fact, I made a skirt out of this fabric and it is super cute, but I believe I found some sort of coffee stain on it. Because it's like a very light aqua color, it's just pretty susceptible to getting staining or marks on it. We'll take that cloth again, kind of wipe off the zipper part, just to make sure that that's protected. Okay, here we go. And then we'll let this dry again. Hopefully this kind of helps with the longevity of these items and protect them so they stay looking fresh longer. Let's move on to the uncut piece of fabric. By the way, none of this fabric has been pre-washed. I typically don't pre-wash a lot of my quilting cottons unless I'm using it for clothing items, which I don't tend to do a lot because I've just found that quilting cotton isn't really the best substrate for garments, so I kind of have shied away from using it. This is a piece from the Peppermint collection by Figo Fabrics, and I'm going to demonstrate by only doing half of the piece of fabric. So we're gonna try that out. Before I apply the Scotchgard, I will also go ahead and lint roll this piece of fabric just to get any lint or fuzzies off of this one. Okay, oh, this one kind of snagged a little bit, but that's okay. And I want to really point out the difference between Scotchgard protected fabric and unprotected fabric. First, what I'm gonna do is kind of fold it in half, so we get like a clear halfway mark here. Cover up one side with this scrap piece of canvas, and then we'll do a few tests afterwards just for fun. Okay, so here is the Scotchgard. All right, here we go. So that's 2 coats, and we'll let that sit. Let's do one more coat of Scotchgard over the raw piece of fabric. Very curious to see how well this works on the fabric. I've let the fabric dry for a bit, and this is the Scotchgard protected side, and this side is the unprotected side, and I have a little bit of wine. This is starting to feel like an infomercial, but that's okay. So let's test out this fabric protection. All right, here's wine on the unprotected side, and we have wine on the protected side. Let's see. Okay, wow, the wine totally soaked into the unprotected side, but it's just kind of sitting on top of the protected side. All right, let's blot this side. Oh my gosh, look at this, is like so much better on the protected side, and it's not even like super dry yet. You can definitely see that the Scotchgard protected side is doing much better. I mean, there's still definitely a bit of a stain in here, but it's not as bad. Notice how much it soaked into the fabric on this side, but it really kind of sat on top for a while on this side. Let's just put this all in the bowl of water. Obviously, this is a pretty extreme example, but you could really see the difference. Obviously, wine is a very tough stain to get out. The Scotchgard did say you have to reapply it after every wash, so I guess this would apply. This is really why I tend not to pre-wash my quilting cotton. Look how frayed it tends to get. I went ahead and rinsed out the fabric in my sink, and here's where we are now. This is the fabric that I Scotchgarded 1/2 of. The Scotchgard side did do better overall. You can see the unprotected side. The stain just spread out immediately. This beat it up on the surface for a while. Also, I hadn't let the Scotchgard dry very long, so it might have done better if I'd let it dry longer. If you're watching this video, you might be like, hey Jen, the damage has already been done. One of my favorite sewing projects has a stain or a mark on it, and I'm going to be testing out this product that I recently discovered through another YouTube video, and the results looked amazing. In the past, I have tried out like those Tide to-go pens or the Shout stain sticks, whatever. One negative to those products is that sometimes on colored items, I have noticed that wherever I applied that product, some of the color was lifted and then it doesn't look uniform anymore. So I'm going to try out this thing called Amadex. The results I saw on other videos were really great. We're also going to be testing out this product, so let's get into this demonstration. It claims it can remove Sharpie, grass stains, crayon, ink dye, wine berries, grease, oil, paint, tomato, coffee, and teas. So we are going to find out. I saw an amazing transformation with ink stains on a purse lining featuring this product. I'm very curious to see what you have to do. Here are the instructions for the product, and this is a 4 4-ounce bottle. I got this off of Amazon. These instructions are very specific. It says, check for color fastness. Do not wet stain before applying Amadex, so you want to apply this dry. For ink stains, place paper towel beneath stain to avoid transfer. Shake bottle well. Apply Amadex to stain. Rub in well with fingernail or brush, and then rinse it out or launder it. Note, any yellowing of stained area after treating with Amadex is dried Amadex residue. No worries, simply rinse again thoroughly. This actually looks like a pretty great product if it works. So what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna stain this fabric. I have a pen and I have a Sharpie marker. So let's get to it. Oh, this is scary. All right, let's just make a That's a pretty tough stain to get out. And we will also do pen marks. This is pretty common with handbags. All right, that one's not working. We're gonna get another pen. This is pretty common with like purse linings because you get a pen at the bottom and then you don't even know the pen is there. So here's a nice pen mark. All right, this is kind of scary. Let's see if this stuff actually works. I'm gonna get a paper towel real quick. Let's do as they suggested and put a paper towel underneath. The stain, actually, I'll kind of fold this into thirds. So we got a few layers here. All right, yeah, these are pretty scary looking stains. All right, we'll shake the bottle up. Okay, here we go. I'll try to rub this in with my fingers. All right. Oh man, look how scary this stain looks. Says to rub in. Okay. Will this work? I honestly have no idea. Yeah, it is a little bit yellow around the edges, so I can definitely like see what they mean about that stuff. Says to rub it in. All right, we're rubbing it in. This is honestly pretty freaking scary. Real-time product review here. So let's take the cloth now. I'm gonna soak this completely in water. This Sharpie looks pretty ominous. I don't know. All right, and it says to kind of blot. We're doing that. Actually, the ink stain I am seeing some improvement with the ink stain. I don't know if it's coming off onto the towel or not. I think the pen ink is doing a little bit better than the Sharpie. The Sharpie, I'm not really seeing any lifting so far. I'm not really sold on this product, honestly. Let's give it a whirl. It seems somewhat effective for the pen. The Sharpie is still pretty much there. It did get out a lot of the pen mark, so I am kind of impressed with the application for pens. The Sharpie, it did lift a bit of the stain, but you can tell there's still a lot there. So if you're gonna take out Sharpie, I guess it would probably take you like multiple applications before it lightens up. So far, I think the Amadex is so-so, but if you do have pen marks like on the inside of a bag or something, this could be promising. But I mean, this is fairly cheap, so you don't really have much to lose, so it might be worth a shot. If you have any great tips on protecting your fabric or maintaining the longevity of your sewing projects, leave them below down in the comments. I hope you found this video helpful. I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button, and you're welcome to subscribe to The Sewing Report, where we talk everything sewing, crafts, and DIY projects. Anyways, I'm Jen with The Sewing Report. I'll see you guys again in the next video. And remember, whatever you're doing, make it fun.